Have you ever wondered what your very first act on this earth truly was? It wasn't a thought, it wasn't a word, it was a breath, untamed, sacred, the invisible thread that stitched your spirit to your body. It filled you before you even knew what you meant. It carried you before anyone gave you a name. But over time, that holy current grew quiet. Breathing slipped into the background, reduced to function, no longer seen as the portal it always was. Not gone, just veiled. Like a melody once etched into your soul, now barely audible beneath the noise. What if that first inhale was more than oxygen? What if it held the imprint of your essence? What if hidden inside that breath was the memory of who you were before fear, before stories, before beliefs confined you? And what if returning to that breath could recalibrate your energy, could soften what the ego twisted and reopen the doorway to the part of you that knows reality is fluid, not rigid? You might say, I breathe every day. How could it matter? But breath is not neutral. It carries frequency. It shapes your nervous system. It tunes your heart and mind to resonate with different versions of yourself. That very first inhale was your primal key, a key that still waits within you, bridging the world of conditioning and the world of remembrance. Every shallow breath you've taken has carried weight, fear, tension, the unspoken grief of believing you weren't enough. Breath became the silent archive of all that was unresolved, and with each neglected inhale, you drifted further from the portal. But the way back is simple, almost shockingly so. With only moments of intentional breathing, your field begins to shift. Neuroscience confirms what mystics always knew. Conscious breath changes brainwave rhythms. It creates coherence between the heart's field and the brain's signals. It dials down the storm of fight or flight, quiets the ego's restless hum. Breath is not just survival, it is a gateway. So ask yourself, what happens when you breathe as though your essence matters more than your achievements? What happens when every inhale lets the body soften its old wounds, and every exhale frees you from the story that blurred your clarity? This is not imagination, it is recalibration. Each intentional breath rewrites your energetic code. It awakens the forgotten pieces of you, the pieces that always knew life was meant to be more than survival, more than performance. Here's where many wander off the path. They taste the shift once, then slip back into autopilot. Breath turns from portal into checklist, from sacred to ordinary. But what if the real difference between a life that feels stagnant and one that flows with quiet brilliance isn't the number of practices you try, but the devotion to breathing as your true self? Because remembered breath carries memory. It holds the resonance of your lineage, the echoes of your earliest rhythm. It remembers what harmony feels like. It remembers what it means to finally belong to yourself. And when you align with that frequency, the field listens. Reality adjusts, not as a distant dream, but as something shaping itself around you now. Most teachers don't tell you this. One conscious breath has the power to rewire identity, to collapse the version of reality where peace, love, and purpose are goals far away, and reveal them instead as vibrations you are already weaving into your life. But the portal won't open through thought alone. It opens when you breathe into it. Science, ancient wisdom, and lived experience converge here, all reminding us the body remembers what the mind forgets. Studies prove it. Conscious breath shifts brain rhythms, synchronizes heart and mind, and softens survival mode. One slow inhale can nudge the nervous system into balance. One steady rhythm can invite creativity, intuition, and healing. Your brain waves, once frantic, begin to move like music, from harsh, restless notes into calmer harmonies. Alpha, theta, delta, the language of stillness and insight. And when heart and brain begin to pulse in coherence, something magnetic awakens. Your vibration becomes undeniable to the field around you. This is why even a single moment of breath work can feel like clarity breaking through clouds. That release you felt, that glimpse of peace, it wasn't just a pause, it was proof. Proof that breath can dissolve the old and usher in the new. But here lies the paradox. Knowing is not enough. Tasting the shift once is not enough. The field does not bend to fleeting sparks. It responds to the steady fire, to the rhythm you choose to embody again and again. Your baseline is written quietly into your body, in the way you breathe without thinking, in the curve of your posture, in the reflexes of emotion you hardly notice. That automatic breath, shallow and restless, keeps rehearsing the same stories of stress, fear, and lack. But the moment you choose a slow, intentional inhale and let the exhale leave with coherence, you send new instructions. You're reshaping neural pathways, strengthening the vagus nerve, calming the chatter of the default network that loops old thoughts. Science affirms it. Focused breathing shifts brainwaves, reduces stress circuits, and awakens states of clarity. Imagine if, for 30 days, you practice this daily, not as a way to fix yourself, but to realign with who you already are. How different would your vibration feel? What new reflections would reality begin to mirror back to you? Because breath is not just comfort, it is instrument. It can bridge the distance between surviving and thriving, between the version of you bound to the past and the one waiting in possibility. Soon we'll look at breathing protocols grounded in science. Measurable, repeatable, verifiable. Techniques that adjust brain rhythms, harmonize the nervous system, and raise vibration so naturally that manifesting stops being ritual and starts being rhythm. But before that, take one conscious breath now. Inhale fully, exhale completely. Notice, even for a moment, how everything softens. Time feels lighter. Fear loosens its grip. You glimpse the truth that reality can shift. That fleeting moment is not illusion. It holds the key to collapsing new realities. Realities already trembling on the edge of your vibration, waiting for you to breathe them alive. The field does not move by wishful thinking. It mirrors your state. Breath is one of the fastest, most overlooked master keys to transform that state. Your body, your heart, your nervous system, they are broadcasting signals right now. Electromagnetic pulses, brainwave patterns, heart rate rhythms, all transmitting your vibrational address into the quantum field. If the signal carries tension, fear, resistance, the field reflects it back. If it carries coherence, calm, expansion, the field leans in and reshapes around you. This is not only poetry. Studies on heart-brain coherence show that when the heart's rhythms synchronize with brainwaves, emotional stability increases, the nervous system resets, and the energy you emit becomes a new invitation to reality. Positive states created through intentional breath aren't just moods. They are signatures that sculpt the life you live. Yet most people stop at using breath for relaxation. They inhale to settle, exhale to release tension, and then drift away. But alignment takes more. It means breathing as though each inhale expands your identity, and each exhale rewrites your timeline. It means realizing every breath can be an act of creation, a pulse steering you toward the version of life already holding what you desire. So the question becomes, what is the difference between breathing on autopilot and breathing aligned? Coherence. Scientists call it entrainment. When heart, brain, and breath fall into rhythm, when your inner orchestra tunes itself into harmony, and breath is the baton. With every inhale, you lift possibility. With every exhale, you release resistance. When you breathe as though your dream is already alive, you signal the quantum field, I am ready. You create the container where timelines shift, where synchronicity finds you, where reality begins rearranging around your frequency. This is why certain breathing techniques bring what people call mystical states, flashes of insight, waves of emotion, uncanny alignment. But science shows it isn't mysticism, it's coherence emerging from within. When the breath is steady and deep, noise fades, tension unwinds, and the field responds, not to force, but to alignment. So let me ask you, when was the last time you breathed into possibility instead of shrinking from fear? The last time you inhaled as though stepping into your future self, even if you couldn't yet see their life? If you can't recall, that's not failure. It simply means you can begin now. Later, I'll share a practice so precise that even 5 minutes will shift your baseline vibration, opening doors you once thought were closed. But first, you must understand how breath rewires your pulse, how it reshapes your electromagnetic field, how it changes you more deeply than autopilot ever could. Because every conscious inhale reprograms identity. Every exhale sends a signal. This is who I am becoming. And the quantum field begins folding around that signal, constructing a reality of ease, love, and purpose. Try it now. Inhale, long and slow, until you feel possibility rise in your chest. Exhale, and let go of the weight that's been limiting you. Even in that brief coherence, a tremor begins, a whisper that dimensions are shifting. And here is where we turn to something tender, the forgotten child within, the pulse you carried before fear, before duty, before masks. That child breathed without resistance, dreamed without borders, trusted reality as a playground, not a battlefield. You may not see them now, buried beneath layers of shoulds and musts, but every sigh, every tight inhale, every restless night is their call, asking to be remembered. What if breathing back into that child, the one who once knew how to simply be, is the missing bridge between the life you have and the life you long for? Because breath guided with compassion becomes a portal. It doesn't erase the past. It weaves it back into wholeness. Picture this. You lie down in quiet, eyes closed, heart open. With each inhale, you call home the parts of you that once shrank. With each exhale, you release the stories that told you love was conditional, that told you worth must be earned. And if sadness rises, or shame, or longing, that is the child speaking. That is truth surfacing. Let it breathe. Here's the truth almost no one speaks. When you breathe into that hidden place, tenderly, honestly, your vibration shifts in ways you can't see, but can feel. The pulse of your field smooths. The rhythms of heart and brain fall into coherence. And in that quiet rise of frequency, the mirror of reality reveals reflections you never thought possible. Peace, acceptance, capacity, aligned dreams. But you cannot believe the mirror until you face the child. Not with judgment, not with shame, with presence, with curiosity, with love. That child never asked for perfection. They only asked to be seen. Much of your stuckness comes from disowning that playful, trusting part, from ignoring the earliest breath of possibility within you. So here's my invitation. Pause right now. Breathe. Recall a memory that still tugs, a time you were asked to grow up too soon, a moment you buried your longing, a day fear felt stronger than your dream. Inhale into that memory. Exhale with kindness. Let the emotions rise and whisper, "Thank you for being me. I see you. I reclaim you." Write it, say it, breathe it. I remember who I am. That declaration becomes a signal to your inner child, to your field, to the quantum web, that what was hidden is now held. Stay with me, because soon you'll learn how to amplify this reconnection. Breath is the first doorway, but sound is the amplifier. When breath, sound, and frequency converge, ordinary reality softens and glimpses of the infinite appear. You've felt it before. A song that sent chills down your spine. A melody that opened your heart without warning. That wasn't random. It was your field aligning with a frequency larger than your story. Now imagine doing this on purpose. Breath plus sound plus frequency, woven into a practice that consistently lifts you into elevated states. This isn't wishful thinking. Science is beginning to map what mystics always knew. Certain tones carry resonance that shifts mind and body. The solfeggio frequencies, used in chants, rituals, sacred music, are not myths. 528 Hertz, called the love frequency, linked with transformation and stress release. 396 Hertz, said to dissolve guilt and fear. 963 Hertz, associated with awakening, pineal activation, higher states. Research shows these tones can influence mood, coherence, emotional stability. They are not background sounds. They are tools. And when paired with breath, they become keys to unlocking nervous system states, shifting vibration, and expanding perception into new realities. Picture this. You sit quietly. A 528 hertz track plays. You close your eyes. You breathe in slowly, pause, then exhale with release, softening the rigid edges inside you. As breath and tone entrain your system, your thoughts thin, your heartbeat steadies, and suddenly you feel less like surviving, more like becoming. That is coherence. That is alignment. And that is the doorway we step through next. Research in music therapy and sound healing shows this clearly. Certain tones and chants increase heart rate variability, enhance alpha and theta brainwaves, and open states of relaxation, creativity, intuition. This is the physiology of expansion, the internal architecture for manifesting from presence, not lack. So here's an open loop. What if the music you choose, the frequency you immerse your field in, could accelerate the arrival of your desired reality? What if pairing sound with breath became rocket fuel for shifting timelines? Breath alone transforms, music alone moves, but together they amplify. Your inhale syncs with rhythm, your heart responds to melody, your nervous system surrenders to coherence. This is where manifesting stops being struggle and becomes state. Because resonance doesn't just calm you, it aligns systems, heart, mind, soul, into one field, one broadcast, so that the quantum mirror cannot ignore. And when that alignment happens, life begins to entrain around you. Small synchronicities appear. Thoughts line up with desires. Decisions feel guided, not forced. But let's be honest, it isn't always comfortable. Sound and breath can stir emotions you buried. Grief, nostalgia, tenderness. They can unlock codes long forgotten. And yes, rising in frequency often asks you to release what tethers you to the old. Here's something simple you can do today. Choose a track tuned to a healing frequency, 528 hertz, the love tone, or any solfeggio resonance. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit upright, relax your shoulders, breathe deeply. Inhale through the nose for 4 to 6 seconds. Hold for a pause, then exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. With each inhale, imagine drawing light into your chest. With each exhale, release fear, doubt, resistance. Let the sound wash through you. Allow the tones to ripple across your field. Even 5 minutes begins to shift something. And over 30 days, your baseline resets, your perception sharpens, your reality starts reflecting peace, clarity, possibility. In the next chapter, we'll close this loop. You'll see real stories of people who manifested breakthroughs not by pushing harder, but by combining breath, music, and frequency into daily rhythm, and stepping into coherence. Then I'll show you a simple 5-minute breathing protocol you can do anywhere, anytime. Not just to calm down, but to plant a seed in your field, a declaration. This is the reality I embody now, before the world even believes it's possible. So imagine this moment. You sit quietly, free from distraction. Your gaze softens, your jaw releases. One hand rests gently over your heart, and then the process begins. Step 1. Inhale through the nose, slowly, for a count of 4. Feel your belly, your ribs, your lungs expand. Pause now, just for a breath. 4 counts in, a soft stillness. That pause is more than silence. It is the spark of possibility, the instant where futures are chosen. Exhale gently, 6 counts or more, letting the body unclench, letting the story you've been carrying dissolve like mist at sunrise. Every breath out is a quiet surrender, a permission slip for the old version of you to rest. Repeat this cycle for 5 devoted minutes. Inhale and imagine light moving through you. Exhale and release the weight of old fears, doubts, and borrowed beliefs. Continue and you'll notice something begin to shift. Not loud, not dramatic, but undeniably real. A loosening in your chest, a softening of the thoughts you've been rehearsing for years. Maybe even a vision, an image of the life you secretly ache for. These are not accidents, they are signals. Your field is adjusting. The quantum mirror is responding. Reality bends not to your effort, but to the frequency you embody. Science echoes this truth. Conscious breathing changes the nervous system. It steadies your heart rhythms, guiding them into coherence. It shifts brainwaves from sharp, frantic notes into spacious harmonies. Alpha and theta, the frequencies of clarity, of intuition, of creativity. In this altered rhythm, the nervous system rests, the mind listens, and timelines loosen. New realities begin to pulse at the edge of your awareness, waiting to be chosen. But here's what most forget. 5 minutes done half-heartedly won't open the door. If you count seconds, if you treat the breath as another chore, the field won't move. You must breathe as if it matters, as if each inhale carries the shape of your destiny, as if each exhale clears space for your becoming. When you do, the practice stops being mechanical. It becomes alchemy. At first, the signs will whisper: a lighter posture, a dream that feels brighter than usual, a quieter emotional baseline, small ripples in the fabric of your being. Don't dismiss them. Those whispers are the proof of recalibration, the first markers that your frequency has begun rewriting itself. So let me ask you, what would change if you gave yourself 30 mornings like this? 5 minutes of breath, not as habit, but as ritual. What would your vibration feel like then? What would the world reflect back if your field was no longer wired for scarcity or fear, but for coherence and expansion? Because the truth is, your future is not hiding in a vision board or in faraway goals. It's here, written inside your breath. Every inhale whispers yes. Every exhale dismantles the walls between you and the version of yourself already living free. So take a moment now. Place your hand over your heart if it feels natural. Inhale with devotion. Exhale with surrender. Feel the field notice you. Feel your essence come online. And if something inside you stirs, a spark, a memory, a longing, don't let it fade. Anchor it. Write in the comments, "I remember who I am." Let that be your vow, your signal, your declaration to the quantum field. Not a wish, not a maybe, but a return. And stay with me. This is only the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll step deeper into sound, into memory, into frequency. Tools that, when braided with breath, amplify your coherence and align you with realities your soul has always known. Until then, breathe not as routine, but as creation. Because your next inhale is not just air, it's a choice.